Hi, I'm Jesse with Silhouette America, and we are going to be looking at the metal etching function on the new Curio machine. Just to give you guys an idea, this is the standard base that comes with the machine. And for metal etching, I actually like to use the embossing mat because it will actually hold on to that metal very strong as it goes through this process. The metal, this is actually an etching sheet that we sell as part of the accessories for this machine, and it's an aluminum that has an anodized finish. So as you scratch that finish off, it brings a really shiny etch into the machine. If you come around this side, you can kind of see, we'll slide this mat into the machine, and you'll see this little notch right here. This is one thing that most people don't read on the instructions when they first start playing with the machine. This little notch needs to go in the machine past the front of the machine. Once you've passed that front, then it will actually be able to feed and catch and read the entire base so that you're starting in the right place. You'll notice it has a dual carriage, so you can run two machines or two blades at a time. If you're doing a score and emboss, or say you're doing a pen and an embossing tip, you can get a different effect. I'm going to go in and pull these out because we are actually going to use an etching tip for what we're doing. This is our embossing tip, just to give you an example. It's kind of a lot like a ballpoint pen without ink, essentially, so it's just rolling over that surface. This is our etching tip here with its tungsten point coming out of the base. Put that here in the number 1 slot. And we'll come around to the software. What I'm going to do, I've got these platforms set up here that allow for certain thicknesses of media that you're using, and I haven't checked those yet. So when I get in here and I tell the system what we're doing, and it tells me what settings we want for media, then I may have to change those platforms, but I'll kind of check on it and see what it says. First thing I'm going to do is clean this up. I've got a lot of other images in here that I don't want confusing the software. I've got this butterfly, and you can see it's kind of showing as a cut file here in the system. It's all ready to go. Matter of fact, I am going to shrink it a little bit because we're dealing with a smaller plate than the actual mat. So I don't want it to come off the mat and into my embossing tip. Oh, this is a mat, I'm sorry. I'm doing it wrong here. Okay, so here's our single file. And it's got its grid on here so I can make sure that I'm not running past my plate. 3, 4. And this one's 3.337, so we're good there. Alright, so once I've got it all in the system, I'll go up here to the top. You'll notice that I've got a couple of new tools up here. These tools are always going to be in your newest version of the Cameo software, but they're not going to be available unless you have a Curio plugged in. You'll notice they'll be darked out. As soon as you plug that Curio in, those new tools become available, so you can click on them up here, and it opens up a new menu of options. We can go into our score and emboss, deboss, print and emboss. One thing I want to do, I'm going to go into my adjust cut settings here. I've got it all in red. Tool number 1. Tool number 1 here is indicated with red as well, so you know that we're all talking about the same piece. And I'm going to let it know that I am zooming here, if I can work with the max. I'll have to forgive my inexperience with it. There we go. So I'm going to choose what type of material I want to work on. We're going to be using metal etching sheets. You'll notice when I do that, it opens up a window down below. It says, okay, you want to make sure that you've got your metal etching tip in place. There's no depth settings for it. It's always the same. It's not adjustable like the blade is. It's telling me here that I need to set my mats. I need to have a 2mm mat, another 2mm mat, and then my working mat, which is my embossing mat, which counts as 1mm. So let me double check and make sure that I've got the right mats in place. These little clips will open up on the sides. So here's my working mat that counts as the 1mm. And you'll notice they have numbers on the side that you can kind of see if the light's right. And this one has number 2. So So that's a 2mm mat. And then we have another 2mm mat below it. So it looks like he had it set up the right way already. So I'll put it back together here. Put our 1mm mat with our metal plate affixed. Then you snap the little clips on in place and just make sure that they hold that workpiece in place. We'll slide that back into the machine past the notch. And then you hit the speed button right here. And it'll find 0 again. Okay, so we've got our platform set up. This is the speed that it's suggesting in the software that we use. I'm just going to leave it as is so we can see how the default's going to work on the system. And everything else on here looks like it's set to run. So I'm going to hit send to Silhouette. Obviously we'd be here for a lot longer because it would be going back and forth making single passes, but it makes a really cool finished product. There's our finished butterfly. You can see the etching in the metal there. We could be interested to see if I could do a fill on it. There we go. Now, because I didn't move it, it should stay in the same place, but it's going to go back through and fill that butterfly. There you go. That's your final product. And you can do any font or text that's on your computer. You can, any clip art you can find on the internet. I mean, any image you can even imagine, you can put into the software and make an etch file out of it. You can emboss it. The sky's the limit as far as this machine is concerned. So, thanks for taking the time to look.
Be sure to like our video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Scrap Time Videos, to be the first to see the latest videos from CHA 2016.